CiTR 101.9 FM, broadcasting from Vancouver, British Columbia. And live on the phone with me, I believe, direct from Connecticut, we have none other than Kristin Errett. Kristin, can you hear me there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. Good to know that technology is alive and well. And you avoided the tornado warning last night out in Connecticut?
Yeah, that was so bad. I'm just so glad that I didn't lose power. But it was pretty windy.
Yes, well, we saw the intermittent flickering there of fans in the neck of the woods. So tell our listeners, for those who don't know about you and your music, give us a little background on yourself. Then we're going to talk about your music, and then we're going to talk about your performance last night on Stageit and how you're using that platform.
Sure. Well, I'm Kristin Errett. I play piano-driven pop music. I describe it kind of like a sort of, I guess, Carole King, kind of like a Sarah Bareilles sort of style. I've been playing for the past few years. I tour a lot in the Northeast area. Do a lot of colleges. Just having a ton of fun with it. I got a show coming up at Rockwood Music Hall in a month.
Fantastic. And you know, looking about, you got a brand new album out.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of it.
It's Confessions of a Songbird.
Right. Okay. So the title itself seems somewhat intuitive, but give us the story a little bit behind the title of the album, and then just in the process of putting it together.
Oh boy. I don't know if there's like a story behind it, but I loved the idea of creating something with songbird, and I always kind of wanted the word songbird to be in the title. I wasn't sure if I wanted it as a song or if I wanted it for the title. But I just kind of, I put all the songs together, and just, Confessions just kind of came out of that, because it was just kind of me, just each song just kind of pouring out different things about me and my life. So it just seemed fitting to call it Confessions of a Songbird.
Fantastic. So, as you're on a Canadian radio station, we're not sure the Songbird reference there, whether it's, Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, but we'll pretend it's Anne Murray and give you some Canadian credit for your love of the title Songbird. Now, I came across your music on a website, and this is something that we've been talking about on our Facebook page and on Twitter as well, called Stageit. So, as I stumbled upon this this week, I thought, what an incredible platform, and pretty amazed that I hadn't heard about it before. But, for bands out there looking to tour, they want to be able to reach fans outside of their local area, Stageit gives them the opportunity to basically do a world tour, basically do a concert to all of their fans across the world, yet staying in their location. And I had a chance, obviously, last night to see your broadcast in concert, and what an amazing platform. Just the way that it gave you the opportunity not only to play to your fans, but interact directly with them. So this is your second or third Stageit last night?
Last night's was my second show.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was going to completely agree with you. I think Stageit is just such an incredible tool for indie artists today. I personally love it. I hadn't heard of it until actually a fan of mine sent me a message and said, please do a Stageit show for us. And I didn't know what it was. And so I checked it out, and I was like, this is perfect.
So talk to us about your first Stageit experience, when your first concert. How did it go? The interaction with the fans, and then talk about the difference between your first and your second.
It's great. The first one was it's a little weird. I mean, you're home, or whether you're in the studio, wherever you are, you're usually by a laptop. So definitely there's an adjustment period to get kind of used to that feeling. I joked last night, it's very weird to finish a song and hear no applause. But there is a streaming comment section, so people can, request stuff or, comment to let you know how it sounds. The first show I did too, I did have a couple technical issues. It wasn't Stageit's fault, completely my own. But once I kind of got the hang of it, I, just seemed that it's so perfect. I already have another show set up. I had people from the UK actually setting alarms to link up to watch the show. So I just think it's so cool that there's actually a website out there where you can actually communicate with people who, like someone like me, an indie artist. At this time, I don't have any plans to tour in the UK, and it's just really amazing that I'm able to perform for these people who I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to perform for.
And let's
talk. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about being able to reach fans that you wouldn't otherwise. What has the feedback been? Obviously, I'm a brand new fan that discovered your music via stageit, but what other feedback have you gotten from people that have seen you on stageit or come across you on stageit?
So far, nothing negative. I mean, people are really, really supportive. They all seem to like it. They really like too that I had this show posted for about a month, so I was taking requests of my own songs, and I did a couple covers. But I think people really like that they have the opportunity to, kind of see an artist in the sort of behind-the-scenes setting, and you can, talk to them and say, like, this is what we want to see you do. Can you do this for us? And, at like a normal live performance at a venue, you don't really have the opportunity to do that and communicate one-on-one with people. So people have been really, really supportive, really, really liking it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and there's a real honesty to that type of performance. There's nothing produced about it whatsoever. The most of them, anyways. It's a real rawness, and I certainly think there's a huge appeal to fans of artists about that. You'd be able to get to see them behind the scenes in, for instance, your lovely drapes. How many fans get to see Kristin Errett's lovely drapes by the piano? But it gives you, there's such a connection. You're not just someone out in an audience or watching a video. You're seeing someone in their own setting. Tell me about the positives for you on a stageit type concert and the negatives. I know you talked about not being able to have the fan feedback, not unlike having a radio show. You're talking, but no one's talking back to you for the most part, which can be good and bad. But talk about your favorite parts of it and things that aren't maybe so good. If we've got I know via Twitter and Facebook, we've got a lot of artists here in Vancouver right now listening, wanting to know about stageit and how they can use it. So what are some of the positive negatives that you see from it?
Well, I mean, the positives are just that, kind of what I said before, that there's people who wouldn't normally get to see you are able to watch you, which I think is so cool. Let's see. It's just, I mean, I really honestly, I love the setup too. I love that it's kind of like a backstage experience. It's not really like a normal performance. I think that in general, and especially too, there's a lot of artists on stageit who are some of the really big mainstream artists. I just recently had watched a performance by Sarah Bareilles, who is really a very big artist, and I think people really, really love that they get to see her behind the scenes, which is just extremely cool. Some of the negatives, I guess, about stageit, there's not many. I really do like it a lot. One thing with my first show, there's a streaming comment section, and even last night I was still a little getting used to it, but it can be very distracting because you'll be playing a song and then you'll kind of be looking to the corner at the screen and you'll see people commenting stuff like, oh no, my screen froze, or oh, she's really good, or oh, I like this song or something, and it's hard to stay focused on your song. So that's kind of one, I guess, negative.
Absolutely. And I guess there's the drawback as well, with those streaming comments of maybe overzealous and amorous fans, maybe borderline on creepy, as one of the few of the comments there. You've definitely got a fan, I believe, in South Carolina, if I remember correctly from the location. But I think the feedback from everyone that I saw in there was positive. No one had anything negative to say, and I think obviously there was a huge fan appreciation to be able to interact with you in that way, which I think is incredible. Now let's talk a little bit about the monetary end for artists, because there's more than just putting on a concert. There is a way there to, generate some monetary benefit, albeit, you're not selling tons of T-shirts and, necessarily touring to sold-out arenas of 30,000 people. But there are some monetary benefits. So talk a little bit about that, and then I want you to touch on what you did to kind of pull in fans there with, what you were giving for the top 5 tippers.
Yeah, absolutely. They do something on stageit where you can tip. You can actually tip during the show. You can tip before, or you can even. I set my tickets for my show. I always set it up as pay what you can, so people can actually come and just watch for free if they want, or you can, make a small donation. I like to do something where, I don't just say, this is money for me to, go buy dinner. I say, this is for, I always put the money towards something that's career related, and I'm working on a music video right now, and so all the money from the tips that I did last night, we're just going right towards that. And so immediately when you tell people that, they're much more generous with us, because they're excited for you and they want to see you succeed. And so it's definitely a great platform in that way as well, with getting people to tip for you, which is really nice.
Fantastic. And for the artists living out there, what how does stageit in the end? They take a cut of that?
Yeah, I think they do. I'm not completely sure what amount it is. I think you get the majority of it, though. I believe so. I'm not sure about the specifics.
Sure. And now you ran a contest, and a lot of it was. First of all, let me back up here a second. You were soliciting your fans for the request, and you did the majority of that via Twitter?
Yes, I did. I had a Facebook group, and then I did most of it on Twitter. So just kind of reminding people, just keep putting it in there. You're like, hey, I'm doing a stageit show in a couple weeks, and then the closer you get, the more you just let people know. And the cool part too is a lot of times if you post something about it, if you have some of your fans who are already planning to come, a lot of them will retweet it or tell their friends, which is really, really helpful too. So it's just kind of towards the end, I didn't have to do too much because I had a few of my really, really close fans who were kind of helping me out, kind of, telling people about it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. They were ramping up the interest in it, definitely, and as Jen was last night on the chat.
Jen, she's a great friend of mine. She's become such a great friend of mine through all of this, which is really cool.
Yeah, obviously a big cheerleader for you there. And so tell our listeners about, and I guess this will specifically be directed to, the bands and artists that are listening right now, how you generated the interest in tips and what you offered for people that were, willing to go in there and fight to be in the top 5.
Yeah, actually, I did not come up with this myself. I saw other artists do it, so I stole this. But basically, you can do something where you say, for the top 5 or 10 tippers, whatever amount you want, you basically you give away something, and it's usually something that they can't get anywhere else. So, for instance, last night I'm going to give away a free download, and it's a song that I've never released before. Along with some signed merchandise and stuff, and I think people, more so than getting stuff for free, like the merch from the websites. I think people really like that they're going to get something they couldn't get anywhere else. So if you have anything like a live performance track or anything that can't be bought or downloaded anywhere else, that's usually I've found the best way to go.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, it was. It definitely worked. People were out there, supporting you, and I love the fact that, you made it very clear last night that the money from it was going for the video, and so it really gave your fans a chance not only to interact with you, but be part of helping you, progress your career, and that was really cool. I think that. They felt that they could have an attachment, and that when that video is released, they could be able to say, hey, you know what, we were a part of that, and obviously just creating further stickiness there. I think that's awesome. Fantastic. Well, Kristin, thanks so much for your time this morning. I know that we are just coming up to 10:15 there in Connecticut, and you're working stiff like the rest of us. And yeah, so I really appreciate you taking the time. I was going to play one of the tracks, but you know what I found? I'm actually going to play your cover of Iris that you did at the Bitter End in New York.
Oh, sure.
And we're going to play that live. Cool. And if you could just hang on the line here when we go to that. But we're looking forward to playing some more of your songs, and hopefully you'll send us a link when the video's done, and we can post that on our YouTube and Facebook page as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Absolutely. Okay, so here we are, Kristin Errett covering Iris from her live performance at the Bitter End in New York.
Just